start the session. We should be waiting for about 2 minutes for the rest of the boys. Please turn your webcams on so I can have a view of my class. Okay. All right. So good morning, and I think the recording is on. Let me check. Yeah, the recording is on. And Mr. Press. Okay, thank you, Yasin, for the good tip. And I'll do that when the lesson is over, inshallah. So let's start the session for today. Anybody would like to identify that which slide we were at? Did you guys see the screen, the presentation? I don't think so. Let me start the share again. Okay, can you guys see this? If yes, then please raise your hand. Okay, great. Okay, so previously we were discussing about the photosynthesis. The objective of this lesson was about learning the structure of the plant cells and how do they actually prepare the food for all of the living things. Okay, thank you, Yasin and Sami. So I believe we were on slide number 3, right, Abdul Samad? Is that the slide we're going to start from? Okay, good. So let me turn this thing on as a slideshow. And Yasin, Gashkari, you have the mic.
Yes, mister.
Would you like to read that slide for us, please?
Okay. All the food we eat comes from the glucose plant make.
Right.
All the oxygen we breathe comes from the oxygen they release. Plants use the photosynthesis to produce glucose and oxygen. One of the raw materials that plants need to make food comes from the soil, and the other comes from the air.
All right, good. It's photosynthesis. Synthesis means to produce and light. We're producing something in the presence of light. So the first point you said, the food that we eat comes from the glucose the plants make. They are the primary producers of all the food that is available in the world. If there are no plants, there is no life. And Yasin and Khalid and Sami are raising a hand. Do you have a question? Or is it the previous attempt? No questions? Okay. So I'll lower everybody's hand. Okay, so the oxygen that we breathe is coming up from the plants as well. And Omar has a question. Yes, Omar?
Mr. Do we write this?
Mr. This presentation is available on your canvas, and
Okay.
You don't have to write, but whatever I'm writing on the presentation, you might have to write that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So Sami has again raised his hand.
Yeah, Mister. When we have a homework.
Yes, there will be homework in the module, week 2, you're going to find homework.
I will see now.
Okay. And Abdul Samad is raising a hand. Yes, Abdul Samad.
Yes, Mister. The homework does it come in the to-do list?
What is do list?
To-do list in Canvas. Yes.
I don't think so. Maybe it's not there. Maybe it is, but it's definitely the module 2, week 2. It is there as a homework too.
Okay, thank you. And Mister, how do we find this presentation?
You'll find this in the lesson. I'll put it in the lesson 2 again. I'll make sure it stays in the lesson 2. The one was the introduction, and the lesson 2 and 3, because we're continuing this for 3 lessons, so I'm going to put them lesson 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sami has again a question. Yes, Sami.
Mister, I go to the week 2 when I had he say 0 PTS. When what lesson?
Zero PTS is a lesson.
No, no. What lesson?
Okay, I'll
Then
show you.
lesson 1.
Sami, I'll show you this at the end of the session. When we'll stop
Yeah.
recording, and I'll show you this one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. So, Umar, you have another question, or is it the previous hand? Or you have a question? Umar Saleh, do you have a question now? Or shall we move on? Okay, no question. So let's go to the point where Yasin was saying that the oxygen we breathe is coming from the plants. They are producing the oxygen for us. They produce the glucose and oxygen during a process called photosynthesis. Please highlight that point. And the next point is one of the raw materials that the plants need to make food is coming from the soil and from the air. So water and the soil, that's what it is coming from. And Yasin, stop playing with my chat window and sending me empty messages. So thank you very much. Because it's getting recorded as well. Your chat gets recorded. There's a log for it too. So if we have to, put you into trouble, it's very easy then. So let's go to the next slide. We'll give the mic to Mohammed. Would you like to read this slide for us?
Okay. Plants make their food from carbon dioxide and water in a chemical reaction called photosynthesis. The food made by photosynthesis is sugar or glucose.
Okay, so thank you, Mohammed. Anybody who has any confusion about this is what we have been discussing for a very long time, that the carbon dioxide in the air is going to be grabbed by the plants, and with the water coming from the roots, they will be able to do the photosynthesis. So synthesis or synthesis, you can combine it, say it as a one word. So the carbon dioxide is coming in from the air into the leaf. This is one. Let me grab the marker. So this is done. Number 2, water is coming from the soil. Okay, and then the glucose is being produced over here in the plant, and the oxygen is coming out of the leaves. So it's a simple process. 2 things going in and 2 things coming out. Glucose actually stays inside. What I meant was coming out like as a product. So glucose is produced and the oxygen goes out of the plant, and some of the oxygen is also utilized by the plants itself, because it's a living thing and it has to respire. One of the boys actually said this yesterday. Who was that? Hello, Hussein. You are going to be next. We have a chat request. You can't hear me? Someone says lag. Yasin, photosynthesis is a process of making glucose in the presence of sunlight with water and carbon dioxide. So you are collecting carbon dioxide from the air and collecting water from the clapping. So you're collecting the water from the roots, right? These 2 things are coming in the presence of sunlight. You produce glucose, and number 2, oxygen. So Yasin, this is the answer to photosynthesis, right? Anybody who's still not able to understand, you can send a text question, and we're moving on to the next slide. Sami is raising a hand. Yes, Sami.
Mr. The sound is so lagging.
Yes, the
Really?
internet is so bad. Let me turn off my webcam. Is it better now?
It is not coming now. Before the sound cutting and we don't hear something. I
Yeah.
think there will be again like this.
Okay, but the recording, inshallah, will be having the proper sound. So hopefully this will. But we will have to write whatever I'm writing on the board on this presentation. You can add up to your notes. All right. So if this is going down, I might ask you guys to turn off your webcam so you can hear me well. Turn off the webcams for like 5 minutes. Only for 5 minutes so that. Al Hussein, you have the mic now. Mr. Nouri, would you like to read the slide in front of us? All right, welcome back, boys. Faisal is very happy to see me back. Thank you very much. And let me start the session again. I think there's something wrong with the Zoom today. I've checked the internet is working fine, but somehow the Zoom is lagging. Okay, so I gave the mic to Al Hussein Nouri. Yes, you are unmuted. Can you please read that slide for us?
Believes that have chloroplasts, which contain green pigment called chlorophyll. It is chlorophyll which absorbs light from the sun that enables plant to carry photosynthesis.
All right, perfect job. Boys, can you turn off your webcam so maybe if there's a problem with my internet speed, you might be able to hear me properly. So just for 5 minutes, turn off your webcams. And I see 3 boys raising a hand. So just let me explain this, and then yes, Faisal, I'll come to you as well. So the thing which is responsible for what do you call absorbing and capturing the light is chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is a green pigment. It's like a green jelly-like substance, which is packed inside the chloroplast. All right. So it's an organelle. It's a small organ which contains the green pigment, and the green pigment is called chlorophyll. That is responsible for capturing the energy from the light. So let's.
Assalamu alaikum. Yasin Gashgari is now host.
Oh my goodness, I was mute all the time. That is sad. So I was explaining a few things and there was mute button on. All right, boys, your fun time is up. Let's get back to the session. Okay, Ahmed and Hussein, no more dabs, please. Thank you very much. Okay, so as I was saying the last time, the The organelle which is responsible to absorb the energy from the sun is chloroplast. It contains a green pigment inside, which is called chlorophyll. So let's go to the people who are raising a hand to ask questions. Faisal, you have the mic.
Chlorophyll is what makes the plant green, and it also absorbs sunlight and turns it into food.
Exactly, you are absolutely right. So is that a question or is that an answer? Or
Well, that's
reaffirmation?
an answer.
That's a reaffirmation. Okay, thank you very much, Faisal.
You're welcome.
Excellent answer. Let's go to Ahmed. Stop. Ahmed Abulaid, please stop making these faces. Mufti, you have the mic.
Read?
Yes, you are raising a hand.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you want to read? Okay, you can read the slide.
Yeah. Plants and algae make their own food through photosynthesis and this chemical reaction. Chlorophyll in plant cells.
Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. In plant cells absorb light energy to change carbon dioxide and water into glucose and the byproduct oxygen.
So,
This is the
anybody?
word equation for photosynthesis. This is, I guess. Hello,
Yes.
Ahmed Faisal, do you hear me?
Can you read the equation?
Mister, I read it again or
Only the equation. Okay, if you have read it, then let me explain. So if you're looking at this, what do you call that? Equation, we have carbon dioxide coming in with the water. And look at this, light energy is a must and chlorophyll is a must. If these two things are not available, then you will not be able to do that photosynthesis. Produces glucose and oxygen. So this is a simple equation that is using the words. But if you'll go to the higher classes, you're going to find that we will be representing this equation with symbols, CO2, H2O, and then we have glucose that shows 6 carbon atoms and 12 hydrogen atoms and 6 oxygen. So Faisal, I'm asking you to be at your best behavior. All right, we are in a class, so you will have to spin on your seat. Thank you very much. So it produces the oxygen. So that's quite a simple lesson. I think there's not much on the other slides. So let's check the other slides. Yes, Faisal, you have a question? That's why you're raising the actual hand, or is it the other thing? Okay. So we have these leaves. Okay, so let's see the chat. We have Abdul Samad Ashkandi has a question. Okay, let's go to him. Yes,
Mr. How does algae help?
algae help? In what help?
Algae helps in the photosynthesis. How does it help?
Where
It
does it?
was mentioned. It was mentioned in the previous slide.
Okay, all right. The algae, they are green. They have the ability to do the photosynthesis as well, and they're usually inside the water. So the water gets the oxygen from these algae,
Okay.
right? Like you might have seen that we have a big aquarium. We have a lot of fish inside, and if we don't change the water from time to time, the fish can die. So we use a motor pump which produces the bubbles, which produces the oxygen, so that the fish can live. That is a similar job of an algae inside the ocean. They keep on producing the oxygen so that the fish can live. Okay, so everybody froze again. My Zoom is gonna get targeted. Hello. Is anyone there? All right, thank you very much for staying in the class.
Mister, I have a question.
Yes, oh, please raise your hand. Who is this? Have a question? Let me lower everybody's hand and then I'll see who was asking. Khalid and Malik. So let's give the mic to Khalid first. Yes, Khalid.
Yes, mister.
Faisal, I'll come to you after Malik. Were you raising a hand? Were you asking a question? Oh my goodness, this is getting stuck again. Everybody please turn off your webcams. Maybe is it because of my speed, internet speed, but it's showing that I'm actually perfectly fine. Co-host is Abdul Samad. Yes, he is the co-host for me. That if anything goes wrong, Abdul Samad is one of the mature people who can handle the situation. Mute everybody and turn off your webcams for 5 minutes. Let me check if there's a problem with the internet speed because I'm testing my internet speed. It's working fine. After Khalid, we have Malik. Malik, you have a question? Yes.
Yes, Mister.
Yes.
Will there be any questions to answer in this
Yes, there will be some
meeting?
questions. And Yasin, please turn up the webcam as well. Thank you. Yusuf. Yasin Gashkari has a DP of a girl. Why? Okay, Yusuf Bukhari, please turn off your webcam. Mohammed, please turn off the webcam. Maybe this will improve the speed of my. Yes, Abu Samad, you are the co-host. So let's get back to the session, please. Let's see. I have to share my screen, and the screen is over here. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay. So this one is saying that the leaves are thought to be the small factories that produce the food. So it's a common idea that the leaves are producing everything, so we call them the factories. And they are adapted so that the photosynthesis can take place. They are adapted in such a way that they will spread and absorb as much light as possible. Faisal, do you have a question? Yes, please. Where are you? And Faisal, let me give you the mic. Yes, Faisal. Trying to mute Malik and unmute Faisal. Thank you all boys, and please turn off your webcams.
Internet.
So Faisal was asking a question. Let's give him the mic. And
All right, so Mister,
yes, Mister.
I actually have two questions. My first question is is it possible for like any type of human or mammal or like creatures other than plants in general, okay? Would it be possible for them, instead of eating food or something, could they evolve into absorbing sunlight just like plants?
I don't think so because the science fiction movies are working on it a lot, and even some of the scientists they're trying to work on this, but we haven't been able to achieve it. If we look into the previous, history about a billion years ago, we believed it's still a theory. We don't have a proper evidence for that. That mitochondria and the chloroplast used to be bacterias, and they actually became a part of another cell because they have their own DNA. That's why we think that they were living separately as a bacteria, and then they got,
Oh,
involved with another cell, and they became a part of it, and they developed a symbiotic relationship. A symbiotic relationship, like I'm gonna provide you with the energy, in return you provide me with the food and shelter.
yeah, I got it. Okay, my second question is, Mister,
Yeah.
why do when we go to space, like the moon, or let's say if we went to Mars, why do we have to prepare oxygen and stuff like that? I know we have a suit to like for the sunlight and to protect us from like radiation and stuff like that. But why do we need oxygen? Because like in most movies or books or stuff about like true stories or like non-fiction or fiction, or what's it called? There's oxygen on Mars. So why do we need to like why do we have to have our own like oxygen tank or suit or something like that?
So there is oxygen on the Mars, really?
Yeah, I heard that
Okay.
on a few different books.
Can you double check that? We'll check it on Google as well. The reason why they take it is the reason the oxygen percentage is not compatible. Over here on Earth, we have 24% of oxygen. So if that percentage drops below to 16 or 14, you will not be able to breathe properly. Whatever you
On
go,
Google it says there's 0.1% of the air on Mars is oxygen.
1% is not compatible for us. We can't live at 1%. We need 21%. And if you go to the high altitudes, like on the mountainous areas, you're going to find that there's a difficulty in breathing over there. When you're trying to walk, you get easily tired and you start panting as well. It's because
Okay.
we
Do
have.
you believe that there was life on Mars before?
Let's not discuss our beliefs. We have to finish this lesson, Faisal.
Alright, sorry.
So inshallah, when we'll have free time, we can have these kind of discussions. But right now, we are lagging a little bit. We have to go, finish this lesson as fast as possible.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Thank you. And let's see this one. The last, I think, one of the last slides. So I'll give the mic to Khalid. Okay, Khalid Al Nuwaimi is raising a hand.
Yes, mister.
Yes, would you like to please read that for us?
Okay. Useful features of leaves. Leaves often have many features that makes them suitable for photosynthesis. A leaf is broad and flat to capture lots of sunlight. Veins carry water to the leaf and take food from the leaf to the rest of the plant. Veins also help to support the leaf. Certain plant cells contain chloroplast filled with chlorophyll. So small holes called stomata in the underside of the leaf allow gases in and out.
All right, perfect. You described the whole leaf. The structure is broad and flat so that you can maximize the area to absorb the sunlight. Veins are there so that they can deliver the water to every single cell and receive the sugar from every single cell as well. So they are like a transport system. And within that transport system, you are providing the water and salts from the roots, and veins is a part of that system. And xylem and phloem are, connected with these veins. Then certain plant cells contain chloroplast with chlorophyll. If you remember the cell structure that we saw, the palisade cell. Let me show you the previous slides so that I could actually highlight it. This one, this diagram needs to be, oh, sorry. So we have the palisade mesophyll cells over here. They are on the top side of the leaf. They are responsible for, doing the photosynthesis. So let's go to the same slide again. Okay, hold on. And There are small holes, stomata, which allows the movement of the gas molecules, the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. So let's see this one. We have discussed that before. We'll just go through them again. Anybody who would like to highlight these things? What are these? So Faisal is raising a hand. Okay, Faisal, you have the mic. Yes, Faisal.
The cuticle is a layer of wax that coats the surface of a leaf. The wax cuticle prevents water loss by evaporation. It is transported to allow light into the cells below. The palisade cell layer is filled with closely packed palisade cells that contain lots of chloroplast. This is where most photosynthesis happens. The spongy mesophil layer contains large air spaces between cells. These allow gases to diffuse between the stomata and the palisade cells. A vein is made up of specialized cells arranged in tubes. Some of the tubes carry water, minerals into the leaf, and others carry glucose out to the other parts of the plant.
All right, good. So we have discussed these things previously. I'll go through them. I'll summarize them. The cuticle layer that we said that it's a waxy layer, so it protects the water loss from the leaf because it is exposed to the sunlight, and the sunlight is quite strong. It can help easily water to be evaporated. Don't get me wrong, the water is actually evaporated. It is taking place in the leaf, and that is called a transpirational pull. From the stomata, the water vapors are still going out, but it reduces the water loss. The second thing Faisal read was about the palisade layer, which are underneath the cuticle where the chlorophyll is available, where the photosynthesis is happening. Then we have the spongy layer, which is loosely arranged. They have a lot of gap between them so that the air, carbon dioxide, and oxygen can go in and can go out. And the last thing is about the vein. The vein is connected with the phloem and xylem, and they are providing the water to different cells, and they are receiving the sugar from these cells as well. Once they receive the sugar, they have to go to the different parts of this plant. They'll go down the way to the roots, and they'll make sure they provide the sugar to the roots. So I think we have left with 3 minutes. Let's try to. So this is the arrangement. Is this the same thing? There's nothing new about it. If anybody is confused, please raise your hand. We have Al Hussein raising a hand. Yes, Al Hussein.
Mister, I have a question.
Yes, please.
How do you pronounce photosynthesis?
Photo, then you say syn, S-I-N, syn, the thesis. Photosynthesis. 3 sounds.
Photosynthesis.
Syn,
Yeah, photosynthesis. Synthesis.
Menti?
Synthesis.
Menti? Can you text me
Synthesis.
the question? All right. Okay, so let's go to Khalid. Yes, Khalid, do you have a question?
Yes, Mister. I have a question. You said that what is the veins that carries the water and minerals through the tube. Where does the water and minerals go? Do they go to the root, or do they go to the other leaves so they can cook?
No, the water and the salts are coming from the roots, and they have to go up to the leaves from the xylem. The xylem tubes are responsible to carry the water and the salts from the roots up to the leaf because they are manufacturing the glucose. They need the water, right? And the carbon dioxide is coming into that leaf from the air. In the presence of sunlight, these 3 things together will make the glucose. Once you have made the sugar, you make sure that you provide the food to the roots. So you send them through phloem. That's another tube which will go down to the roots and give them the food so they can develop, so they can do their job.
And Mister, I have another question.
Yes.
My other question: what happens if like you said that you need water and sunlight to make sugar,
Yes.
didn't you?
Yes.
So what happens if a leaf took? What happens if all the leaves took like more water instead of sunlight? Would it cook the same thing as it cooked the sugar? Would it cook the
Ah,
same thing, or would it wait until it gets more sun, or will it um, uh, 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 like drink put the water in the roots and uh, yes, Mister. What is that question? My question is,
I understood
what
your
happens if a leaf got too much water?
I understood your question, Khalid, but we are out of time. There's 1 minute. I'll try to answer it as fast as possible. Look, there's a limit on the lower side and on the higher side as well. You cannot put very little light and expect to happen photosynthesis, and you cannot put too much light. Because if you put too much sunlight, the plant will not be able to do its job. The temperature goes very high. And if the temperature goes very low, then again it will stop doing the photosynthesis. So light and temperature both have to be in between where it is, okay. If it goes like 40 degrees Celsius, it closes the stomata and stops doing the photosynthesis, stops making the oxygen, and that makes the environment more hotter. So if it is between 35 to 25 or 20 degrees and the sun is brightly shining, it's going to work. So I'll continue explaining this question again in the next class. Don't forget to, you know, uh, don't forget to ask me this question again because this needs more explanation than that. So I'm running out of time right now, so that's why I have to end the class.
Thank you,
Okay?
Mister.
So just remember that question and ask me again. So until we see you again, take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.